Hello and welcome to the Hali Hewa podcast, where we tell African climate stories. And today, this podcast episode is supposed to be a very interesting one because we get to talk about an interesting project called Voices for Just Climate Action. And I am joined by a very wonderful guest, and I will let her introduce herself. Welcome, Philomena.
Thank you so much. My name is Philomena Mitalo from the Clean Cooking Association of Kenya. I am the national coordinator for the association. Glad to be here today, and thank you so much for inviting us.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I think my first interaction with the Voices for Just Climate Action in itself was the first thing that came to my mind was, how come I've never heard of, all the amazing work that is happening on the ground? So that is why, for me, it's very important to come and have conversations, amplify, see what has been happening on the ground, and to amplify some of the good work that has been happening at grassroots level. So to start us off, in your own words, how would you describe the Voices for Just Climate Action, and how is CCAK particularly contributing to that initiative?
Okay, so the Voices for Climate Action, for us, we call the Power of Voices, is a project. It's a program that has several alliance partners implementing, and these specific alliance partners have different components that they are advocating for. So for us at Clean Cooking Association of Kenya, I'll briefly tell you about the CCAK. We are a business membership organization. By business, I mean we have stakeholders from the private, public sector, academia, research institutions, even students who are actively participating in clean cooking initiatives, both directly and indirectly. Our main mandate is to create an enabling market environment for clean cooking adoption, both at national and at county level. So that's about CCAK. So for the CCAK project under the VCA, with our main implementing partner being WWF Kenya, our project is on enabling environment for clean cooking adoption for reduced climate impact. Like every other partner, we have three strategic objectives that we work with: mutual capacity, joint lobbying, agenda setting, like the one that we are doing here through amplified storytelling. So our project is in Kilifi County, and in the project we had different components that we are working with, where we are supposed to improve knowledge through entrepreneurial initiatives, especially with women and youth and the communities, where we are supposed to also be involved in ecosystem restoration. We are also supposed to be involved in policy influence, starting from the county, because some of the initiatives for them to pick up with regards to climate change, it is a policy issue. And then we are also supposed to create awareness, which at CCAK, it is what we do best, because sometimes it's not about lack of the money to buy whatever it is that you want. It is because you are not aware of whatever it is that is in the market.
Right.
Yes.
No, thank you for sharing that with us. Also, I know we talk about clean cooking a lot, and someone might be asking, so in my day-to-day life, have I interacted with any clean cooking I don't want to call them appliances, but have I interacted with clean cooking at all? So just paint a picture of what some of the awareness creation that we're trying to bring into the picture, and how that will impact my daily life.
Yeah, so when you hear somebody talking about clean cooking, when we say clean cooking, we make reference to the World Health Organization guidelines on indoor air quality. These are fuels and technologies that, number one, do not cause health impacts, economic impacts, and also you're looking at environment. So in our subsector, there are different types of clean cooking and fuels and technologies. So the fuel is what powers the technology. Yeah. For example, if you look at what we have here, we have the different types of clean cooking solutions. For example, we have biogas, we have LPG, which most of us know. We have ethanol, and it has its own specific stove. We have improved cooking stoves. These are energy saving stoves that do not use much charcoal or much firewood, or if you are using briquettes, we have also, these are pellets, these are sustainable briquettes. We also have fireless cooker, we have electric cooking appliances, we have solar. You know, if when you came in, you saw like a variety of the technology. So we are technology agnostic, like we represent the whole sector. So if I ask you today, what did you use to cook today, to maybe breakfast or even yesterday evening, you used a cooking appliance. So which type did you use? If you are in urban area, I'm able to gauge the type that you can use. Mostly is LPG. If you are in rural areas, there are different, like it is a diversified sector with different, and we have other still innovation, still under innovation, but when we talk about them, it is those that do not cause household air pollution, do not cause environment degradation, and also do not eat into your pockets that you spend so much money on a fuel or an appliance.
No, I love how holistic that is, because you've touched on the livelihood sense, which is it's affordable.
Yes.
And then the fact that it doesn't degrade the environment. And you've also talked about indoor air pollution,
yes,
which of course touches on the human health.
Did you know that in Kenya only 23,000 people die yearly due to household air pollution?
That is quite a significant number.
Very significant. So in our awareness, in our efforts to create awareness, we try to sensitize the public about the effects of using unsustainable and clean cooking methods. So that is why you see working together with Ministry of Health, Ministry of Energy, we try to create what we call behavior change awareness campaign, where we tell you that you use this, but the end impact of whatever it is that you're using that is unclean on your health is very deadly.
Yeah, so I think, remember, 23,000 people, and I feel like just because we don't talk about it as much, we don't realize that, you know, within our households, you know, some of the health challenges that we're experiencing could be because of what we use.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that now at least we understand that you've probably interacted with a clean cooking technology or solution in your day-to-day life.
Yes, you have.
So we're talking particularly about this project with VCA, with WWF, of course, being your main partner. So tell us more about what that project has been like. You also mentioned you're implementing Kilifi County. So, you know, just share with us about how that looks like.
Oh, so thank you. So for us, focusing on Kilifi County, number one, if you look at the number of households in Kilifi County, which are like over 300,000, we have more than 58% of them depending on charcoal and firewood. So with that in mind, you look at the degradation of the environment. So in Kilifi County, we went in with the aspect of policy influence, where we have supported with the development of the county energy plan, which shows the county planning around all energy resources. And the main difference for me this time is because in the previous county energy plans, there were no aspects of clean cooking. When you talk about clean cooking, people just talk about electricity. But now we go in introducing all this as the alternatives that the communities have. So apart from that, we also have worked with women groups at community level. You note that the county, in its efforts to promote adoption of clean cooking, they bought and installed 7 briquette making machines in their different sub-counties at the community level, the polytechnics at the community level. This was to help support the communities with sustainable charcoal production. For that, we supported some women groups in production of briquettes using coconut husks. So like if you check here, these are women that we were training with prefabricated machine. This is the county machine, and this is a conversion of the briquette. So we supported them with that kind of a training. Also, we have supported them with training on improved cook stoves, energy saving stove. transition is a slow process. I can't go to somebody's home and move them from three-stone open fire. Three-stone open fire, nile mawe tatu, neka kuni huku, and then you cook your food. Yeah. You can't transition them from that to LPG because we have gender, social, cultural norms that hinder the adoption. So we went in with training them on that. We also supported, so we have our members, some of them who are already there with the improved cooking solutions and briquette farms producing briquettes. Yeah. But then the communities are not aware. So we went in with market activations and road shows. And for real, if you could look at the uptake of like those who would come and buy in 50 bob, 30 bob, like we made 1 kg at like 30 bob, so that we make the comparative analysis for you. They're like, this is maca, this is how much you spend on maca, this is how much you spend on this briquette. So you would see that most of them would really be excited about the sustainable charcoal, because they'll say maca inaisha haraka na nunua nyingi and all that, you spend so much money, but this one burns. And then they tell you, I'm able to cook 2 or 3 meals at once. So we saw that uptake. And then that was through market activations in their town, Pale Kibaoni. And then we also did some road shows, the truck going around. And also, as much as I am coming to tell you about clean cooking and giving you alternatives, I have to tell you what your behavior is doing to the environment. So then we introduced ecosystem restoration programs in this phase, where we supported the planting of indigenous trees somewhere in Kanze, Magarini, and growing of mangroves around Matsangoni area. So in addition to that, we want to impact knowledge in our schools and TVETs, where we started these energy clubs, where we are telling the students the importance of energy conservation. Something as simple as when you leave the room, you switch off the lights. And, when you plant a tree, you name the tree after the studio, so that there'll be sustainability of the tree growth. Even the communities, themselves, they feel the impact of climate change. They feel the impact of deforestation. They feel the impact of household air pollution. So when you go to the community, somehow they already know why they're doing forest, why they're doing conservation. And my biggest success, I would say, is that you find that they are the ones who want to lead the conservation efforts. So then we go at policy level. We have had very good political will, starting from the office of the governor, trickling down to the ward admins who support our initiatives whenever we go to the ground for these activities here.
Yeah, I think, again, I say I don't know why I have never sat with you and maybe spoken about these issues, because I love how, again, I'll use the same word, holistic, because it touches on, I think we were having a conversation in one of the meetings, and we were saying how sometimes we go to communities and give them solutions they don't need. So once you leave, they stop using them, they pack it. So the fact that there's involvement and also even making a business case for them in terms of comparing briquettes, charcoal, and how much money they actually spend. And you also definitely answered my question on how the uptake is within the community. So I think I'd ask, from when you started this initiative, particularly in Kilifi, up to now, would you say there's a difference in terms of their thinking and their behavior? From the place where they understand the importance of clean cooking, and also them taking up the initiative to be directly involved in restoration projects, even without anyone forcing them to.
So for the communities, I realized for those ones in ecosystem, before you even take in your intervention, they have been able to group themselves. Maybe, for example, the trees that we planted in Magarini and the mangrove in Matsangoni, you find that there are women-led organizations that are doing tree nursery growing for whichever species that it is. So you find that themselves, wanajituma, like they say, there is always community-owned land in most of these places. They go, they plant somewhere, then you realize that they fence the place and they take care of some of those trees to ensure the sustainability, and they have put themselves in such a way that they have a leader who they look up to bring in the initiatives wherever they are, because there are also other partners on the ground who do restoration, who do clean cooking, who do capacity building. So you find that they, through their chamas, they have they push themselves to look for these initiatives. For example, Josie, they were asking me who can go and train them on how to do improved cook stoves. So we are out here looking for partners who can go and train specific women to do improved cook stoves. And then the machines, by the way, are free. You walk in, you can. So they put themselves into group. Then you go with the raw materials, you produce whatever it is that you can, and then you use it. Just at domestic, small-scale household level. Yeah.
That's really good to hear. And of course, in everything that you do, there has to be challenges.
Yeah.
And of course, you pointed out that you're working, or rather there's been good reception when it comes to the, the county governments in place.
Yeah.
But what would you say are some of the challenges you've experienced looking at community, government, etc., that is maybe hindering some of the things that you would wish you would have achieved?
So the one to adoption of clean cooking, it is behavior change, gender and social, just around gender, because some people believe that the firewood produces, cooking with firewood produces sweeter, the food is sweeter, nayomoshi, and then there's just the cultural aspect of it where wakiwasha moto, it's also for heating, where they are seated. You remember when we were young, tulikuwa tunakaa jikoni, unakulia kule and all that. So you realize that moving them cannot be instant like this. You have to cause behavior change just starting from their mind. So it is with that regard that from the Ministry of Energy, we developed a behavior change communication strategy where, as we are going to the community, I am not from Kilifi, so I cannot go and be speaking English like Swahili yangu ya Nairobi to them. So you look for these local media houses to pass the information. When you're doing the road shows, you'll try to tell them that this is good, but there is also this, which is like almost the same. But then when you take in the impacts of unclean cooking, it is when like they have started to realize that so anakwambia nimekuwa nikikohoa but hiyo kikohozi hai, then you realize that, then when you ask what have you been using for cooking, they will even just show you where, and you can easily judge. So there is that social behavior change. And then there's the issue of stacking, like this is a HP laptop, this is a Dell, this is, when I go, and because you find that some partners come and give them all this free stuff. Yeah. So of course I will take. I go, I use it once, it doesn't serve me, then I revert. And then there's the issue of policies around charcoal and firewood, charcoal burning especially. You realize that in the coast region, most of it comes from Kilifi, and it is depleting the forest cover of Kilifi. So the challenge comes in when this is some people's economic activity. Yeah, they generate income from that. So we would like to have a very strict policy on how to go about changing that. Because as you're telling them not to burn the charcoal, which alternative are you giving them? And sometimes the policies are there and the frameworks are there and the regulation, but the enforcement of that sometimes. So it means, it says like, you are preaching, but then there is no impact of that.
Yeah, of course, there has to be a policy backing for anything to work.
Yeah, so it starts from it. Some of them are mostly policy related.
Great. Thank you for sharing that as well. I think the last question I would ask would be, what is, I don't want to limit you, but what is the one thing or the two things or the three things that you would say would not have been possible for CCAK to come this far if VCA was not in the picture.
So number one, without VCA, we wouldn't have managed to reach the stage that we are in on the county energy plan. There are other partners who are supporting with that, but especially going to the community and getting their clean cooking, just listening to them with their cooking and the cooking behaviors and energy mix. I think with the introduction of the CEPs, with regards to just with the fact that CCAK is there, when we come in with clean cooking. So if it is not clean cooking, then I don't see the need of sitting in a meeting that is developing a county policy document, because the CEP is a 5-year policy document. So it starts from having it there. Then with regards to that, I think if it wasn't for VCA, we wouldn't be able to pitch in to develop a clean cooking policy that will guide the county on, that will give a regulatory or a framework to the county on whatever it is that they need to do on clean cooking, just to spike adoption. Because at the national level, we have developed the National Cooking Transition Strategy, which has given the overarching barriers to adoption to clean cooking. So when we go to county level, then we develop a clean cooking policy. For me, this would be a great achievement in the project.
Yeah, amazing. And also, so I shouldn't have said it was the last question, but now that it has worked in Kilifi, or at least implementation has been possible, what in the future of CCAK looking like in terms of maybe expanding and going beyond the canteen that you're domiciled in?
Yes, so for us, we have moved from strategy development to action. For example, right now, as we are planning, we have an event called the Clean Cooking Week that we hold annually. By the way, you guys are invited, you can come. We were holding them in Nairobi. Now they're going to, last time it was in Nakuru, now it will be in Kajiado County. We are looking at enough of strategy development. Now we are looking at action, strategy to action, where we are looking to partner, to invest, and to implement. For CCAK, we'll continue creating awareness on clean cooking as long as CCAK. We've been here for the last 10 years, by the way, since 2012. And for us, our main mandate, apart from capacity development for this sector, I think the country still needs a lot of awareness around clean cooking, especially in the rural areas, and provision of alternatives.
Amazing. And I should have asked, how long have you been with VCA?
This year we started in 2022. So we are in phase 3. Yeah, this year is phase 3. And so far so good. Yes.
Great. So as we wrap up, maybe someone who's listening wants to know how, from a community perspective, how can they maybe support your initiative? Of course, it's different from what we see. Now a community member would be like, okay, in the case that we decide one day to come to Kajiado, what would you expect from them?
Number one, when you are coming to Kajiado, you would see innovations. Sometimes I see innovations that I haven't seen yet. I've been in this sector for the last 4 or 5 years. And then when you are a community, you want to be part of it. Number one, what we are trying to fight is degradation of our forest, under just still the same climate change. So for us, it is not about the initiative, the sustainability of the initiatives that you want to be part of. How are they helping you at your household level? Let us just start with how you cook. If you are using firewood, consider looking at where is it even coming from. A tree has been cut down, or is it charcoal? Some trees went down. Before it even, like that value chain, we can break it at some point. For the community, let us be open to ecosystem restoration through nature-based solutions, because for nature-based solutions, it's about the society, the people, and climate. For me.
Great. Thank you so much. So is there anything else you feel maybe you wanted to share and haven't had the chance to?
Yeah, so we are having the Clean Cooking Week coming up in Kajiado County. This is an annual event spearheaded by the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum. And in these meetings, we talk about policy advocacy, financing, investment, awareness creation, both media and to the community. We are calling people to come and support, and also if you can be part of it also, it will be good, because we are looking at awareness starts from myself. Word of mouth is also awareness. Media is also awareness. Women group, word of mouth, women group to women group. It is women who pass this information. So you are all welcome to the 2024 Clean Cooking Week, whose main theme is strategy to action, where we are looking at partnership, investment, and implementation. Yeah.
And the date?
It's 21st to 25th of October. But our communications officer will really disseminate that information outside there, so you'll be able to get it in our social media handles and just every other channel, including the VCA pages.
Now that you send social media handles, where can we find you?
Okay, so you can find us on Facebook. We are Clean Cooking Association of Kenya. On Twitter, X, right? X, we are at Clean Cooking KE. On LinkedIn, we are Clean Cooking Association of Kenya. Not Alliance, Clean Cooking Association of Kenya.
Yeah. But of course, we'll be sure to share all the social media handles and of course collaborate in making sure this message is out.
Yes. Please collaborate with us. Let us create awareness on clean cooking for the sake of those that we love.
Well, thank you so much. This was us, the very first of, the VCA series, and we will see you on the next one.
Thank you so much.
Bye.